Don't know why that's like that. That's a new one. Well, not a good start here. There, I'll stand that up. That's still not great. That's the one I think. I think here's my other problem. Yeah. All right, sorry about the delay there. And good morning to you. We're just taking a look at what is going on currently. A lot of poor visibilities out there. As you can see, what we're showing right now are the wind gusts throughout the time period this morning. And, you're looking at, Grafton's been sitting around 50 miles per hour. Fargo's had a gust of 60 miles per hour here just fairly recently. So, lot of wind with this. We did have a fair amount of snow that did show up overnight. So even though we did have some rain and some warmer temperatures yesterday, the snow that did fall overnight was enough, along with, when you got 60 mile per hour gusts, you're just, you're kicking up some good snow out there. So a lot of reports of bad visibility. So that blizzard warning is absolutely panning out as the Weather Service had predicted. Right now, it is actually out there until noon. They have extended it. Originally, it was out until 9 a.m., but just given the winds and the amount of cold air that's coming in, and just how long some of these winds will last, I mean, they've extended now the blizzard warning until noon. So just to basically more or less be on the safe side of things. As we take a look at the current conditions, we are going to go to this screen and blow it up. And we'll try to make it a little bigger for you here. Kind of doing some of this a little bit on the fly this morning. Make this bigger so you guys can all see that. Here we are. This is Fargo right now, and they're showing gusts of 52 knots. So that is that's about 56 to 60 miles per hour with a half-mile visibility and blowing snow. They're currently sitting at 4 degrees. Grand Forks is sitting at -4 degrees with 3/4 mile. Now this is out at the airport with peak winds of 46, so that's about 50 miles per hour. I should probably look at the peak winds, and peak winds, yeah, 52. So, so you can see everybody up and down the valley here. Definitely, that we've got wind gusts of 45 to 50 to 60 miles per hour coming down through most of the area. Once you get out to the Devil's Lake area, and then even out to Jamestown, there's still some decent gusts where it's 30 to 45. But beyond that, it kind of tends to decrease a little bit where it's more 30-ish. And plus, you don't have the snow that fell across the Red River Valley like we got yesterday. So ultimately, that's really the main problem, is just the snow that fell late, and then the gusts of 50 to 60 miles per hour. So taking a look at the roads out of the Minnesota side, notice that road is closed between Crookston and Grand Forks. No big surprise there. That's always kind of a spot that's generally, that's one of the first spots to go down, especially on the north wind. But now we're getting multiple road closures out here. Closer to Fargo, 75 is closed. Let's see, zoom in a little bit. Click to show all nearby. Eastbound 10 is closed, 9 is closed, 36 is closed, 94 is closed. From about, looks like Fergus Falls to Fargo, 94 is closed. So a lot of these areas down in here. And from what I've noticed, just looking at some of the cameras out there, is really the winds are bad. and the visibility is bad, probably about, we'll say 50 to 75 miles, you know, we'll say 75 miles east of the Red River Valley, and then probably about 50 miles west of the Red River Valley. Is really where most of the bad weather is. I was just, like I said, looking through some cameras. We'll pop some cameras up here. This is a snowplow on Highway 34 near Barnesville to Junction 59. So this is what they're seeing. This particular picture is as of 6:30, 6:26. So that's a little bit earlier, but still, you can kind of tell they're pretty poor conditions. We'll take a look at another snowplow and just see what they're looking at. So this is Highway 108 around I-94 to Pelican Rapids. Some pretty poor visibility there. That's pretty recently. That's as of 5 minutes ago. And yeah, you can't really see much out there. Very poor conditions. The other problem is, of course, we had that rain that also fell. So now you're also dealing with the slippery roads on top of it. So now you can't see. You can pretty much see on this road here, that looks pretty icy. This one is US 75 is what we're looking at here. And visibility is not real good at all. The thing you got to keep in mind, especially with these cameras that are set up year round and they're sitting kind of on, above the ground, and it always doesn't seem as bad when you're looking at these cameras, just because they are looking from top down. They don't deal as much with the drifting snow that's coming over the top. So once you get down to the actual surface and you're dealing with the drifting on top of the blowing, that seems to be really when things go sideways and get worse. So just keep that in mind as we're taking a look at some of these cameras. But even the cameras don't look that good at all. This is I-94 eastbound, mile marker 36, the way it looks. And I'm just going to keep kind of poking around here. This is near Holly. Take a look at the snowplow. That doesn't look as bad there. So, you get a little east of the valley. Yeah, I mean, definitely icy. The roads are not good, but the visibility seems to be, looks like it's a little better out there. Take a look at Monoman. Looks like there's a plow that's been out there. And yeah, again, visibility is a little better. Probably the road's about the same, just not very good road conditions. I'll travel a little further north into Minnesota. There's no plows out on Highway 2 just because it is closed. Not getting that camera. Thief River is looking nice this morning. Actually, boy, they're almost clear out the way it would look on that particular camera. Moving forward, moving north. This is Warren. That truck's obviously in the shop, so that's not doing any good. And this is around Donaldson. So still plenty of blowing snow. That doesn't look real great near Donaldson. Once again, we're getting a little closer to the valley again. So conditions not good. And then we get north. Then we get up almost to the border, and look at that, nice and sunny. Not much for blowing snow. Roads still don't look great. Let's just take a look back now. I'm kind of curious what the winds were further north. So winds are gusting about, 35 to 40 miles per hour. And it does kind of look like it's starting to lighten up further north beyond that, where it's 30 to 25 or so. Or yeah, 25 to 30. So improvements are on the way. But it's going to take a little bit, especially the further south you go. It's just going to take longer for those conditions to get better. Here is the North Dakota side. No travel advised across much of the east. Again, I was kind of clicking around on some of these cameras, and they don't look that bad, but just keep in mind, I mean, it's definitely slippery there, folks. You're going to have a hard time uh, keeping your keeping your car on the road. And also been hearing, just kind of clicking around and looking at a few things. Excuse me while I click on, I'll try to find some other stuff here. People have been saying it's pretty bad out. I was looking at some comments that the National Weather Service, people were making on the National Weather Service side of it. And they were basically saying, probably the worst they've seen, especially I know I saw a comment around Glendon that said it was pretty bad out there. But many areas up and down the valley said, no, it's pretty bad out there. So this is Drayton, and not, that camera's looking pretty nasty there. We'll look just south of Grand Forks. Definitely ice on the roadway. Visibilities, boy, it doesn't look good, but it's, it's okay. I did have somebody told my wife anyway that there was a snowplow out near Thompson, and the Thompson guy basically said, go back, turn around, it's not good. So visibilities must be poor in some areas. Looking at this, it's 29 doesn't look horrible in some spots between Grand Forks and Fargo, but I would think in some areas, obviously this is just a couple of spots. I would imagine in some areas that's not the case. Just like I said, just from talking to hearing different stories here and there. Here is a video from Sergeant Jesse Grabo. I believe he's out of, let's see here, West Central, Northwestern Minnesota. So this was as of 7:45, and we'll try and blow this up a little bit for you guys. And yeah, just take a look at this video. There's a couple of trucks there stopped or stalled or stopped or whatever, got stuck off the side of the road. You can see the drifts here. It's nasty out. You can't see. Plenty of cars in the ditches. I know when I was looking earlier at the road conditions off in Minnesota, a lot of the road closures said multiple cars in the ditch. So I think it's a combination of they can't see and it's slippery out. So people are just having problems out there. So if you have to travel right now in the valley, like I said, probably about 50 miles either way, east or west of the valley, it's not looking real good out there. Here is just north of Grand Forks. This is the old North Dakota mill. And actually, I tell you that visibility's actually gone down there since I was looking earlier this morning. So this is just on the north side of town. And again, it's kind of obviously you can see there's some trucks down in here, but that's taking a look at things over the top, and even that one looks bad. So we're going to take a look at the model here and zoom back, get you guys squared away here. That's not what I want. Play capture. Back up it through here. And here are the gusts and what the current model is looking at. Now, they didn't do that great of a job last night on picking up some of the winds, but I tell you what, the Weather Service definitely did. And just, given the amount of cold air that was quickly coming in behind this system, really they should have done a better job here. But I guess you live and you learn. But yeah, there was definitely plenty of winds that were going to come on the backside of this just because it cooled off quickly overnight. But here you can see the yellows, which is everything in the 50 mile per hour range. and it kind of gradually, obviously, just decreases. This is as of 9 a.m. Is what they're thinking here. So probably even beyond that, it's going to take a little bit longer just because we're still seeing gusts of 50 to 60. So obviously this model is still not really doing a great job of handling these strong winds. As you get into the noon time frame, it does decrease it even more. And as you get into the afternoon, we're talking gusts of 30. So will it be that by this afternoon? I think that's probably a little more plausible. I think models are just kind of having a hard time with this initial very strong gusty winds that are out there at the time. But I think by this afternoon, that high pressure settles in, and we will see those gusts decrease. I mean, we're already seeing them, starting to slow down off in the north, as I had shown you earlier. Where we're seeing 35 to 30, 35, maybe 40 mile per hour winds as opposed to 50 further south. So it is, I mean, 40 still, plenty windy, but even behind that, once you get into Winnipeg and such, you're talking in that 30 mile per hour range. So I think that's probably pretty plausible by 3 to 4 p.m. this afternoon. So I would think by that time, everything is just going to be mostly, you're just going to see drifting as opposed to just the bad blowing. Maybe some spots will still be bad by this afternoon, just because there are just those areas that just seem to always blow no matter what. You get some 30 mile per hour winds and you'll be good until you hit that one stretch, and everybody knows that stretch. There's that area where it's like, this area is always bad. So if you have one of those areas, maybe by 3 or 4 this afternoon, if you know one of those stretches, that, it still could not, might not be very good out if you know one of those roads. But otherwise, I think most of the areas are just going to be some drifting snow at that time. Then as we get to 6 p.m., 20 to 30 mile per hour gusts, and continues to decrease throughout the day. So there you have it. Be careful out there. It's going to take a bit as to how these roads are going to get cleared off, or when, if they're going to close anything, I don't know. A lot of schools have been closing here this morning in Grand Forks and a lot of areas. I know the smaller schools to the south and west and east of us as well, and as well to the north. They've been there's been a number of school closings just because it is going to take a little bit for these winds to die down and for the roads to get better. And then also the plows have to be out there, like I said. So, some of these areas that are where the roads are closed, they're just not showing much for plows. I think they're going to kind of try to stay out of the area and then get back in later in the day. So, let's take a look if we got anything else real quick. I should be looking at back here. .52 mile per hour gusts in Rugby, Harvey 61, Denhoff 52, Washburn estimated 52, Sterling 57 mile per hour gusts, Jamestown 56, Medina, good old Medina 57. Yeah, it's not good out there, especially in the valley. So, all right, folks, I'm going to check out. Have a good day. Stay safe. Stay inside at least until this afternoon, and then even then, check the road conditions and see what's going on. But until then, we'll talk to you later. Bye.